Go. What in the world? It's like a weird, like kind of delay there. Almost kind of felt like the transmission slipped a little bit. Just did it again. Now it's acting like it doesn't like 40 to 50 miles an hour for some reason. It's like bucking. It's like just buck, just boot, boot, boot. I don't understand why it's doing that. It's almost like the transmission doesn't know what gear it wants to be in or something. Great. I hope there's nothing wrong with my transmission. What's up, everybody? My name's Kyle, and welcome to the LRT Outpost. Now, I am a huge Ranger fan. If you can't tell from the Ranger sitting behind me, this is our trusty daily driver, towmobile, everything. Like, I drive this truck absolutely everywhere, and it is probably one of the best daily driver pickup trucks around, in my opinion. I'm a little biased, but this is a 2019 SuperCrew, so it's the four-door Ranger. So they actually launched in 2019 here in the States. However, this platform's actually been available overseas. Won't get into all that nerdy car stuff with you, but I absolutely love this vehicle. However, it doesn't mean it doesn't come with their quirks. One issue that I've come across twice now, as you can tell from the intro, causes a little bit of weirdness with driving it. So I'm going to go over a couple of common things I've run into with this generation Ranger and hopefully help somebody else out. So let's get into it. Now, if you have a fifth generation Ranger, that's going to be your year models 2019 to 2023. And I have, like I said earlier, run into this particular issue twice now. I've been on several Facebook groups and online forums, and it seems to be super common. However, it can kind of trip up dealerships, it seems like. I'm sure they're probably onto it by now, I would imagine. But I know whenever I had this issue, my local dealership could not figure out what caused this. But it's almost like a bucking or kind of surging. These 10-speed 10R80s, that transmissions that come in these trucks, they're already kind of a little weird. It's 10 gears, so sometimes it kind of hunts a little bit. But overall, it's a great transmission, except when you run into this issue, it's almost like a delay on takeoff and then kind of like a surge forward. And sometimes some people are reporting around 30, 45-ish miles an hour, 50-ish miles an hour. My experience is if I was kind of cruising, let's say I'm cruising at 60 and I was coming down, say a 45-mile-an-hour zone was coming up and I was slowing down, kind of backing off the throttle, but not completely just coming off the throttle and letting the vehicle coast, I would feel it then at multiple like mile-an-hour zones. It didn't really seem to have like a true rhyme or reason to it, but it's like a bucking, almost like a surge and like kind of like a jump. Bucking's the best term I can describe it. And it almost makes you feel like there's something wrong with the transmission. Can actually kind of feel like the clutch is slipping a little bit. And sometimes, especially at low speeds, you can get like a really hard, like kind of engagement. So don't freak out. I did, but it's not really that big of a deal. I'm not saying this is going to 100% be your fix if you're having the same symptoms. However, this is a really common thing. Yeah, need something to stand on so we can get in here. All right. Our issue is this little pesky sensor. It is a DPFE sensor, or some people are calling it EGR pressure sensor. And apparently it gets moisture in there over time and it just starts to go bad. And it causes like just random It's like issues. I think some people online are reporting like sometimes they get misfire codes or whatever, but super easy to replace. That's what we're going to do. Okay, so we got our little sensor off. So I bought this as an assembly minus the bracket. So there's one little 8mm bolt that holds this up. Much easier to take that off because this one has a head on the back. So you just take that off and it's just one screw. This gets a little floppy chicken. You can move it out of your way and get these hose clamps off. Kind of a pain to get to, but not terrible. So I bought this as an assembly. So the hoses and everything, just again, minus the bracket. It was $150. They come with these nice little plastic tabs that keep these hose clamps like pinched, so you can just slip them over and just pull the tab and they snap into place. But went to my local Napa, went to several auto parts stores, couldn't find them. The only thing they could do is order me one like this for, $160 or whatever. So more expensive to them than it was through Ford online. And then I went to my Napa and they have it. We're able to look it up. It's literally the same thing. They just like scratch the Ford stuff off of it, it looks like. So I got it for like 40, $50. It's literally a third of the price. I'll take it. The problem is these little hose clamps here are kind of a pain to get off. We're going to get these off, switch our old new sensor with the old one, put it back on, and we'll be good to go. Some people are even getting them cheaper online at like Rock Auto or something for like 20 or $30, but there's just a little bit of extra work involved. Okay, old one out, new one attached to everything, and I went ahead and swapped out those weird hose clamps for just standard hose clamps, just so I'm assuming I'm going to have to replace this again at some point in time, since this is now the second time I'm having to do this. So I just wanted to make it easier for myself. So trying to reach all down and get to these, I can just unbolt it, unscrew these, pop it off, pop the new one on, easy peasy. So I'm going to swap this back in. That sensor should fix our issue. Like I said, this is the second time I've gone through that problem. The first time I think I ran into it somewhere between 60-ish thousand miles. I'm a little over 100,000 miles on this Ranger now. So this one lasted maybe 45,000-ish, somewhere give or take like that. So I'm sure it'll probably vary on the sensor. So not surprised there's some variances there with stuff like that. So if you experience any of those symptoms, the bucking, the surging, the kind of like almost like a slipping or delayed engagement at, especially like from a dead stop to a slow takeoff. Before you freak out and think there's something wrong with your transmission like I did, it's worth replacing this sensor and just seeing if it fixes your problem. Speaking of, over 100,000 miles on this thing. I am going to do a 100,000 mile review. I bought this truck new, so I've had it from the jump, and I absolutely love it, like I said, but there are some things that aren't great. And coming from a Ford truck fan, that's hard thing to say, but I'm being honest here. So I am going to go over all that stuff. So if you like that, hit that like, hit that subscribe. I appreciate it. Helps the channel out. And I have a lot of fun doing this. So another kind of issue I'm seeing a lot of other guys run into is the trim on the top. So this whole piece is painted black, and this corner piece, as you can see, is chipping. Just flaked right off. Passenger side's okay for now, but I'm seeing a lot of people saying that they're running into this. Some people are getting it all the way down. Mine, fortunately, is not doing that, but more of a pet peeve than anything. Just kind of disappointed. It's just kind of ugly. So a lot of people are just going back, getting like a little bit of touch-up paint and just kind of touching it up, and as it kind of flakes off, it's probably what I'm going to do as well. Like I said, this is my daily driver, so it's going to get some stuff, scratches and dings and stuff in it. So I use it a lot. So I'm not worried about my truck being perfect, but I really like my truck and I want it to look nice. So that's kind of a bummer, but I'll get some touch-up paint and we're going to go ahead and kind of touch that up a little bit while we're messing with stuff. So came across a can of
good old Rust-Oleum flat black. And I had a little art brush. There is a slight difference, I believe, but not bad. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and scrape the rest of this loose paint away carefully, clean that up with some rubbing alcohol, let it dry real good, and we're just gonna do that and just see how it turns out. Oh, nice. Kind of came off in one big piece. There we go. Huh, it's weird how it comes off like that. Cool. Rubbing alcohol. All right, so what we're gonna do here, take this cardboard box, some paint. All right, it's not too shabby. Okay, so dried pretty good. Looks all right, but obviously that was flat paint, so not close enough for my liking. And yes, I could probably spray paint, tape it off and spray paint it, but I just really don't want to risk any kind of overspray getting on anything else that I don't want. So that's why I'm using the little art brush tactic. So we found a satin just to see. I didn't think it would be any harm if I was going to just cover it back up with the gloss, but the satin seems to be pretty close, so we're going to hit that with another coat of it. It seems like it would be closer in color than gloss. Let's just see how that dries. Yeah, unfortunately, I just don't think the brush, just because I'm having to like brush it on, just not gonna have quite the smooth finish like I kind of was hoping. But we'll see how it dries. Maybe it won't be too conspicuous and I can live with it. If not, I may have to tape it off and spray paint it and risk it for the biscuit. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't made up my mind yet. Nice and dry now. Definitely still got some texture to it just from using the brush, but color blends in pretty good. So black satin was where it was at. I can live with it. You can't really tell there's texture to it until you get right up on it. So I think we can live with that. Now, the third issue I have, and this is not picking on the Ranger or Ford in particular. I think multiple car manufacturers are guilty of doing this, but these stupid chrome capped lug nuts. What ends up happening is this chrome cap separates like that. They always do that. It's super annoying. Yes, I know you're not supposed to use impact stuff on these. I get it, but take your vehicle to any shop. My local Ford dealership did that one. So people are going to use impacts on these things. Then I just don't understand why car manufacturers put them up there to begin with. They don't look that much better than like an aftermarket. These are just black splined, I guess, so it has like a key for all of them. Just make sure you get
the same seating style. There is different bevels and stuff to the bottom. Pretty easy to find out which one you got. But just go ahead and do yourself a favor. If you have these style lug nuts on your vehicle, might want to go ahead and change them out for some aftermarket ones that are not chrome cap, because this will happen. Example, I had a Mustang. I took great care to only use a socket with a breaker bar to take these off, and it still happened, and I had to replace them. So all car manufacturers, please stop using these stupid things. And if you run into this problem, the best way I have found to get them off, because the cap will just rotate around it and it'll just spin. You can't get the lug off. It's super frustrating. So take an old tire iron, or if you find a socket that fits it in a breaker bar will work too, but this just works better for me. You just go ahead and make sure you've got the tightest fit possible. And I just do a couple of taps, get that chrome cap to kind of seat back over that inner lug again, and break them loose like that. That's the best way I figured out how to get them to come off if that cap's already starting to separate. You can kind of see like all warped and kind of dilapidated looking. So we're going to do that all the way around and replace them.
Okay, so another issue is, for whatever reason, you get some noise behind the dash. Kind of sounds like it's coming from the glove box area. Been running my climate control, so when you shut it off, I don't know if y'all can hear that little kind of clicking noise. Seems to be pretty common online. A lot of people complaining about it, saying it could be an actuator for the blender door. Some people are even having to remove the whole like box, I guess is what you call it, where the blend doors just get completely messed up and that has to be replaced. Let's see if we can see that actuator. You just push in your glove box sides here. Pinch them like that, and you can see right there in my hand there's like a little plunger right here with a cord around this little thing, so you just take that loop off of there. So take our loop off, and there we go. So now you can see in here. All right, so there's the plunger with the little cord, and that goes around this little thing for your glove box. This is your door for your cabin filter. You can still hear it. It's like it's cycling or actuating. I don't know. That's definitely what it sounds like for whatever reason. Cabin filter right there. Mine's could definitely use a replacement. Definitely sounds like it's coming from back here. There's an actuator up there. It sounds like the noise is coming from here. I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like mine has done that since it was new. And some people online are just saying it's just the blend doors kind of like actuating. So I guess it could be this. Looks like you got a screw here, a plug there, Looks like that might be the actuator, and that looks to be fairly easily replaceable, if that's what that is. I don't know. I haven't like really dove into it. I've just seen a lot of it because I was curious about that noise. But my HVAC works fine, and I'm not going to mess with it. I feel like it's done it since I've had it, so I'm just not really that concerned. Hopefully it doesn't go out, but you know, is what it is, I guess.
One other thing some people are reporting with these is like a Ranger lean. So actually it'll either lean, if you look at it from the rear, it'll like favor either the left side or the right side. Now mine looks like it's leaning to the left a little bit here, I believe, but that just could be my shop floor. But they tried to kind of identify and fix this, and you can tell these little pads underneath the leaf spring. So I got two over here. But if you go to my passenger side, there's only one. So it's just kind of odd. I think they maybe tried to like level them out if they weren't sitting quite perfect. I'm sure that's probably, I assume that's pretty normal for a lot of trucks. I mean, you never really know how the suspension's going to settle. It depends on if you tow and stuff like that, obviously. But anyways, not a huge deal, but something I have seen a lot of people talk about and kind of complain about because, you know, truck guys, we like our stuff to sit like level and like looks the best that way. You don't want it Carolina squatty potty, and you don't want it nose down like a bloodhound either. So you want that nice little level look. That's the cleanest look, in my opinion, anyways. All right. That sensor should have us back on the road running like we're supposed to. It's not like a crippling issue. You can drive it. It's just not fun. Feels bad. But not saying that's going to 100% fix everybody's problems. Now, there are some issues with the 10R80 10-speed that comes in these trucks. The CDF drum, I think, is the main problem that people are reporting. I think they updated that like somewhere around mid 2023. Now, like I said earlier, I have over 100,000 miles on this truck. So far, so good. I've towed the razors with it. I drive it every single day. So it's been a real good truck, pretty decent gas mileage. I said I will do a 100,000-mile review. I'll kind of touch on some of the pros and cons that I've experienced with it as well, a little bit more in depth. This is just more of like some common issues that I've seen other people dealing with. I personally dealt with just over the course of me having this vehicle. Another issue, this one, I don't know how common this one is, but some people are saying mass airflow sensor issue, just getting clogged up, just clean it. It's not a huge deal. That's pretty normal maintenance stuff. Oil blow by is a little bit of an issue. Turbo 4-cylinder, not super surprising. Can fix that with a catch can. We will be doing that as well on this vehicle. I haven't done so just because when I got this truck, it came with a lifetime powertrain warranty. So I haven't really been too concerned about it, but it is a preventative maintenance thing that I think is a good idea, and we will be doing one. Some people are getting like a little bit of gas in the oil, a little bit of dilution. I think the catch can may help with some of that, probably not all of it. I'm not 100% there. But those are just some of the other kind of issues that I've seen some other people deal with. Oh, and the Ford Sync, really wonky, just kind of seems to have a mind of its own. Works great a lot of the times, and then there's some of the times as just does weird stuff. Anyways, that's not that huge of a deal. So I hope that information helps somebody else that might have one of these 5th gen Rangers, or somebody thinking about getting a used one. Just give you a little bit of information from somebody who has owned one for a while. And I'm just a nerd and I love car stuff. So I kind of read into these things, especially if I own one of those things, obviously. Again, I'm a little biased. I feel like they're probably the best daily driver pickup truck, just the balance of the performance plus the towing capabilities and the interior, etc. Does really well for my needs, at least. But that's going to do it for today's video. As always, I appreciate you guys hanging around and taking the time to watch any of my videos. Now, if you do me a favor, if you like this sort of thing, hit that like, hit that subscribe, and I'm going to catch you in the next one.